ポケットからノートがたくさんありますから今日の動画で Hello Fit Gaijin! It's been 1 year since I've uploaded a video. Today is a story about my personal journey in the first 5 years of living in the Kanto area. So if you or anyone you know has fallen on tough times following their dreams, share this video with them. Let them know that everyone gets messed up from time to time. Okay, a bit for Japanese speakers before we get started in English. この動画は英語で話したいと思いますので、字幕はもうつけてます。今年は何回同じ話を繰り返したし、普通より頭がちょっとおかしくなってきたから、一人一人に説明するより、このノートに書いてあるすべて5年間日本にいるのセスについて説明した方が楽です。そしたら2018年のことを理解して心に置いてから来年2019年皆さんと一生懸命目標を戦いたいと思います。さあ、ゆっくりで話しましょうか。All right, let's start with 2012. I was living in Okinawa, living near Cape Zampa, working on Kadena Air Base for a little over 4 years. I was surfing, snorkeling, doing yoga, studying uechiryu, karate-do, and working on my car. Loving the island life. It was the best. One of the things that really inspired me was that there's a lot of businesses in Okinawa that are on the first floor, and the second floor is like a house, a place where people lived. And I thought that's an amazing work-life balance. So I really wanted to work and make that for myself. I had been to Osaka and Tokyo many times for weekend trips and planned to study in Tokyo after my enlistment finished. But I had 11 months left on my contract, so I moved to Arizona and bought my first house at 26 years old, which for most people would have been the American dream. Having a house, a car, a girlfriend, good job, sunny Arizona weather, working for weekends, paying bills, building a family I could never see. It was never for me, I thought. So I stuck with my original 5-year plan to study abroad and see where life takes me. So from fall 2013 to fall 2018, there were a few goals I wanted to accomplish. And the first one being I wanted to graduate from Temple University with a degree in psychology at the Japan campus in Tokyo. Spend some time meeting new people, having new experiences, broadening my worldview, because in 6 years of the Air Force I had done what they wanted me to do, not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to grow into a man, basically. The third one would be making a career path that would allow me to have an outstanding work-life balance. And then another one would be meeting a partner to share that work-life balance with. And then the last one was fixing my lower back and my hip from damage that I had incurred in the Air Force through rehabilitation and strength conditioning. I didn't want to take painkillers for my bad disc and sciatica in my right hip. So to do all those things, I didn't need my life in America anymore. So after preparing to study abroad, I sold everything that I owned, kept the house as an investment, and moved back to Japan with just 2 suitcases and 2 carry-on bags. And that was by far one of the easiest to remember moments of my life. So after stopping by Okinawa for a few weeks before school started, I moved in with my homestay family in Kamakura. Those 9 months were some of the best learning experiences of my life. I continued weightlifting, surfing, yoga, just enjoying life. And then my grandma, she was diagnosed with cancer. She was an art teacher and a very powerful woman who always did her best to inspire creativity and individuality in everyone. And I thought to go see her in America, but I was encouraged to stay on track with my dreams in Japan. I remember her saying that this was something that nobody planned for, so just stay on track with your goals in Tokyo. You worked hard for them, you know. And that's something that I couldn't really cope with. You know, I just didn't understand it. She was saying stuff like, nobody planned for this. You know, it's not the right time. Don't come see me. You know, and that just really messed with my head, you know. So combine that with some other life stressors, I really lost my balance, and I couldn't focus on surfing. I couldn't keep my breathing calm in yoga, and definitely couldn't keep it straight in school. So weightlifting was my outlet, and I pushed my body every day relentlessly. I just never gave myself a break. So one day a close friend suggested that I try competing in a physique contest, and I prepped for a few months. Took some posing classes and won second place in USBB Japan in Tokyo, 2014 November. And I had never imagined that I would be competitive, but this was a new thing in Tokyo. And I was really motivated to win 6 months later in the first season contest of 2015. So school, weights, eat, sleep, repeat became my new routine. I went on to compete 4 more times. In 2015, I got first place 3 times and second place once while I was in school and also running a YouTube channel. And that was what I came to Japan to do, to work hard and kill it, to just be a whole different level of person. And I had proven to myself that I'm top tier, and I knew that I could help people do that too. So YouTube and personal training was a fit for me. It was a way for me to express myself to people, but also help them. So it was that work-life balance that I always wanted, you know. And that's why from 2016, I took a position teaching at this gym, the Bungling Bay Gym brand. The main offices are in Ibisu, but I work mainly at this Komazawa branch with Koichi. And at the time, he was towards the end of his career as a heavyweight K1 fighter, 18 years. That's an amazing amount of time to be a heavyweight fighter, you know. We were both unmarried guys, training for our own sports that we loved and teaching it for a living. And that's, like I said, it was the dream. It was exactly what I came here to do. So in 2016, I planned to compete in fully tested organization in America. I did that 3 times. I got 3rd in California regional contest. I got 2nd place in the All-America contest, and I got 3rd in the Worlds contest within 6 weeks of each other in the 2016 season. So by the end of 2016, I had solidified to myself that I was an 8-time top 3 men's physique competitor at the local, national, and world level. So I knew what I could do, and I understood the difference after competing 8 times between 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place. You know, these are just muscle-bound beauty pageants. You know, I don't have to base my whole life based around those. You know, I can base my life around myself. I had a choice. After 3 seasons of competing, I could either do like some guys did from the 2014 era when I was competing in Japan. I could be like them and choose to take steroids as an amateur athlete, gain more attention, but also spend more money and possibly damage my body. Or I could stay natural, grow my body slowly over time, and use that time to focus on the business here in Komazawa with Koichi. And that was an easy decision. You know, I took a year off. I decided to focus on how to teach, trying to figure out how to master what I already do know, and grow my business and community around that. So I thought that when 2017 came around, I would feel inspired for competing in 2018, possibly. I was getting back to normal after 3 seasons of bulking and cutting for competition. Business was so-so, YouTube was so-so, my personal life was also so-so. I kept hearing that I needed to have more fun, stop being so serious, so I tried, I made a real effort. More stretching, more cardio, more time off, more time with friends, having a drink every now and then, enjoying the results of what I worked for. And then in spring of 2017, I was walking up the 3rd flight of stairs here at this gym. I turned the corner here to come inside, turn on the radio, and I felt my chest tighten. I felt my neck closing up, my head got dizzy, my heart was pounding. You know, at the time I was 29. I was 86 kilograms, 20-ish% body fat. I worked every day teaching people how to be fit. I did cardio, I lifted weights, I was sparring, like I was active, I was eating, I was sleeping, I wasn't smoking, I would drink like once a week. I wasn't hungover that day. My body was literally rejecting itself. So I quit bodybuilding. I quit lifting for size right then and there. It was the easiest decision I've ever made in my life. You know, I look fine without being huge and risking my health. I don't have to be this, bulking, cutting, half the year kind of out of shape, half the year kind of out of shape again. Whether I'm big or small, I was always out of shape. I needed a real break. Not a lean bulk, but complete time off. I also realized that I wasn't even using YouTube effectively to promote this business. I was just having fun with it, which isn't bad. That was a goal of mine, to have fun. But now I was a teacher, I was a businessman, I was a business partner with Koichi here, and I had a community that I was responsible for, and I had a brand that I had to take care of and build. So I couldn't give 60 to 80 hours per week away for free on YouTube just to get sanman, $300 a month basically from YouTube. I needed to make a paycheck to survive. I needed to have that space mentally and in my wallet to be able to speak from a place of love and charity. I wasn't taking care of the base things in my life. So in the fall of 2017, I decided to take a full break from YouTube as well. Now that could be the beginning of depression. In my mind, it probably was. I was getting over things that I thought didn't matter to me anymore. But maybe it was me growing up. It's hard to really tell, But at the same time, Koichi also decided to retire from fighting. And that was an 18-year commitment that he had spent his whole life doing. So if he can quit an 18-year fighting career, my 3-year physique YouTube career is way more easy to give up. So we decided to make this gym in Komazawa a main focus, grow this community, and create a source of revenue while supporting the community. That would enable us to be grown men in a community. And that was the goal. That was the biggest goal that I had. I knew that in 2018, before my 5-year mark, I was going to be able to complete all my goals. I spent the winter of 2018 planning with Koichi, moving out of my single apartment, getting my visa renewed, studying for my personal trainer certificate, and preparing for my sister's wedding with the whole family in New Orleans, Louisiana. Going to the USA for a week to spend time with my family would be a big reset from all the stress of preparing for the new things in life. I got to meet my niece for the first time, see everyone grown up, share drinks with everyone, and just have fun. For the first time in 11 years, all 6 siblings had been in the same place with professional photos as proof. But after a week of family time, it was time to get back to real life in Tokyo. I was recharged and ready to push myself for the next 5 years. My first week back to work went smoothly, and to finish it, Koichi and I went on a run from the gym here to the river. We had a lot to finish talking about since I was off work for 10 days, so we decided to catch up at my house later that evening. Koichi came to the new house I moved into for a quick meeting on his way home from work. We actually ended up living closer to each other now. And since he's off Sunday and I was off Saturday, from Friday night I wouldn't see him until maybe Monday night. So after a brief meeting at my house, he drove home and I went to bed, put my phone on silent because I planned on sleeping in the next morning. I woke up Saturday morning, I reached over to grab my phone, checked the time, and at that very moment, the front desk of the gym was calling me. Half asleep, I answered the phone and was asked to come here to the gym in Komazawa to cover Koichi's shift. No one could get in contact with him, and he was a no-show for his first 2 clients, which was not regular at all. I rode to the gym wondering if we'd both pull up at the same time or if I'd maybe pass by him on the way there. Maybe his bike had some kind of mechanical failure, I'm not sure. So I taught some sessions with his clients, explained the situation to them, kept it professional, stayed calm, and I just kept thinking, he'll pull up on his bike any minute in front of the gym. No problem. He's always here. A few hours passed. I texted a mutual friend who responded to my question saying, "It's true, he's dead." Koichi had passed away from injuries in a motorcycle accident, and for a few minutes I tried to keep my head in work mode, but I broke down. In the middle of the personal lesson, I shared the news with his longtime client. We ended the lesson, and I decided to close the gym that day. The next month was consumed by this tragedy. Customers closest to the gym knew that day. Some who had been away came in weeks later to find out what had happened. For weeks, mail and donations poured in. The community reaction was heartfelt. The scope of his impact was unbelievable. And for weeks, it was the only thing that was happening in my life. Showing Koichi's fighting spirit meant to me at that time to turn off feelings, turn off hunger, turn off fatigue, turn off pain, push forward and care for others. April, May, June, July, grinding. But the mood improved. And I internalized way too much. I spent a lot of time pushing that out onto work projects, improving the gym, and sales were going up. The gym was getting busier. It was easy to stay on pace. Easy not to sleep, easy not to eat, easy to stay out of balance. Every day, ride to the gym, teach the next client, smile through. Why stop? Everything's getting better. Break on through to the other side, right? And that's exactly what happened. One summer day, I went to the main office from Komazawa, here. Brown storm clouds in the sky. 20 minutes later, I arrive in Abisu. 45 minutes into my session, it's a downpour. I mean, hail, lightning, like I've never seen in Tokyo the 5 years I've lived here. And in the middle of the session, I get a phone call from the gym I have been slaving over for the past 4 months to improve. And a voice on the phone says, "We're flooded, the breaker box is tripped, there's no power. What should we do?" And in the middle of a night class, the peak hours for personal lessons, the facility that generates 80% of my income has a horror style film flooding. It's something you only see in the movies. And in my head, I wanted to say, give everyone an umbrella and stand on the roof until the rain stops. But my mouth said some polite words. I finished my sessions and I went home. The next day I went to inspect the damage. It was hot, humid, and there was no electricity in the gym. Walking around, I noticed how most everything was going to have mold damage from being soaked. But on top of the lockers, Koichi's small shrine with photos and flowers was untouched. It was bone dry. And as I was inspecting the small shrine, it felt like something was pushing me back out of the gym. And I was totally at peace with that. Even though I had been fighting for months to stay here and fight from sunup to sundown, my task was finished in that moment. So instead of staying to help and clean up, I just went home. Up until that point, I was driving between different gyms or my home, sometimes 7 more times a day on my motorcycle. And some nights after closing up the gym and teaching 8 hours, I'd just sit on my bike with the engine idling, staring at the speedometer and saying to myself, what am I doing? Why am I here? And did you learn anything? Driving home, my eyes would dart between the mirrors. My head was on a swivel at every intersection. When taxi drivers would do something dangerous, I would get pissed. Like I was legitimately angry. I'm not an angry person. And that fed to me coming home to myself, this knotted ball of anxiety, depression, sleep insomnia, lack of appetite. And I try to quiet those demons with alcohol, tobacco, medication. And I became a fake. I was the worst version of myself since I came to Japan, maybe ever in my life. One day I wanted to feel good, so I stretched. I watched funny videos, I listened to comedy, I distracted myself and acted like nothing was wrong. And I caught myself doing it, and I said, it's not good enough. You gotta learn from this mess that you put yourself in. And it took me a few months to figure it out. And I know I figured it out because I can explain it simply. I am not responsible for the affecting rain shower. Koichi moving on, the gym literally flooding with rainwater, those were affects. But I am responsible for how the effect impacts me. Letting the affect my emotional state to the point of preventing me from reacting to the punches. It was my job in that situation to read the punches coming towards me, react, and give a counterpunch. That was my job. It was timing that I missed. And that's the lesson that Koichi was trying to teach me from heaven.
It took me a total of 8 months to go through this experience, to think about it, and to learn from it. It could have taken me 8 years, so I was lucky. My story is definitely not the hardest, but it was my experience and I had to deal with it personally. I just want to say to everyone who I distanced myself from or did not provide the kind of friendship, customer service relationship, partnership, I want to tell those people that I'm sorry for stepping away. Those of you who I did share these experiences with and did talk to, thank you very much for listening. I know that I wasn't the easiest person to deal with. But instead of apologizing, I want to move forward with you guys in 2019. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to my story. If you need to reach out to somebody, find me on social media. I'll do my best to respond to everybody. If you can't talk to anybody at all, there's tell.jp. It's a wonderful website. This is not a sponsorship or an advertisement. That is a wonderful agency that takes care of people for free. It's completely free, so reach out to them if you have no one else to talk to. I'm going to show my journey for the next 5 years on this channel. I'm not going to announce what I'm doing next, but it has to do with a higher level of fitness and balance. So please accompany me on that journey on YouTube, in the gym, in the park with me on my workouts. More to come on that. Thanks for your time. And don't forget to